Previously, Mona, the school's queen bee, sets her sights on Kuroiwa, the only guy immune to her charm. She initially thinks Haruno is her rival, but it turns out Haruno isn't in competition and even decides to help Mona win Kuroiwa over. Now the question is, can Mona succeed? Let's find out at the Bridge of Love. At the bridge, Mona and Kuroiwa notice couples holding hands, enjoying the romantic atmosphere. Mona wonders if these couples were dating before or if the bridge's legend inspired them. Seeing an opportunity, she tells Kuroiwa they should advertise their class cafe there to attract customers. They promote the cafe to the couples, with Mona enthusiastically taking charge. Afterward, she tells Kuroiwa about the legend. If two people hold hands at the bridge, they're destined to be bound by love forever. Kuroiwa finds it odd and says he's heading back to the cafe. Mona, refusing to give up, pretends to trip, hoping he'll grab her hand. Instead, Kuroiwa grabs her under the arm to pull her up and starts walking away. Mona chases after him, thinking she might still convince him to stay, but their classmates suddenly appear. The cafe is packed with couples. "We need you two back now," they plead. Mona hesitates but eventually agrees, though she can't help but glance back at the bridge, determined to try again another time. The festival has ended and the class is busy unpacking. Haruna and her classmates thank everyone for their hard work, especially Mona. Mona responds with a simple, "sure," but glances at Kuroiwa, feeling down about how her day went with him. She didn't accomplish her goal and plans to go home and cry herself to sleep. Noticing Mona's sadness, Haruno steps in to help. She asks Kuroiwa to assist Mona in carrying a desk back. Both Mona and Kuroiwa are caught off guard. Haruno even insists, saying it's a directive from the committee. Their classmates, surprised by Haruno's assertiveness, remark that it's a rare sight. As Mona approaches Haruno to say something, Haruno reassures her with a quick, "It's okay, you've got this." Now carrying the desk together, Mona looks visibly upset and avoids meeting Kuroiwa's gaze. Kuroiwa tells her to watch where she's going, but she replies that the sun is in her eyes and asks him to lead, saying she'll just watch their feet instead. Both fall into deep thought as they walk. Mona, too tired and sad to lift her head or smile, stays quiet. Meanwhile, Kuroiwa notices they're heading toward the Bridge of Love and nervously tells himself it'll be fine. Mona, uncomfortable with the silence, decides to break it. She asks Kuroiwa if he at least had some fun today, but he doesn't respond and turns his face away, determined to avoid any awkward situations at the bridge. Mona takes his silence as confirmation that she ruined his day. Feeling defeated, she wishes her last plan had worked. Suddenly, she accidentally bumps into a pile of neatly stacked boxes, causing one to topple. Before it can hit her, Kuroiwa watches her just in time by grabbing her hands. When Mona opens her eyes and realizes they're holding hands, she immediately notices they're standing on the Bridge of Love. But Kuroiwa quickly lets go, stepping back and saying, "It doesn't count. The festival's already over." Mona is surprised by Kuroiwa's comment and realizes he must have known they were passing over the Bridge of Love. After returning the box, Kuroiwa unexpectedly answers her earlier question, saying he had fun and had never experienced anything like it before. Mona's eyes light up and she thinks to herself how he always knows how to get on her nerves. The day after the festival, Mona and Haruno notice that there are now several new couples at school. Haruno comments that maybe the legend of the bridge is real. While they talk, Kuroiwa and his friends walk by. As soon as Kuroiwa turns, Mona instinctively hides. She wonders why she hid, thinking her body just reacted on its own. Remembering the impact she had on him the day before, she decides to stay confident and say hello. Gathering her courage, she steps out, greets him with a good morning, and walks toward the group with Haruno. The boys reply, and Mona suggests that they all walk to class together. They agree, and on the way, Kuroiwa's friend proposes going bowling after school as a way to wrap up the festival. They ask Haruno to join, and she says she'll go if Mona goes too. Mona agrees, knowing Kuroiwa will be there, and starts planning her next move. At the bowling alley, Mona bowls first and scores a strike, earning praise from the group. Feeling confident, she thinks she's close to winning Kuroiwa over and decides to seal the moment. She gives everyone a high five, but Kuroiwa hesitates. When he reluctantly joins in, Mona remembers the time they held hands and suddenly decides not to high five him. Pretending her shoelace has snapped, she uses it as an excuse to step away, saying she needs to grab another pair of laces. She runs off quickly, prompting her friends to call out, warning her not to run too fast or she might trip. As she runs, Mona reflects, unsure if today will work out the way she hopes. Kuroiwa is sitting alone with his friends and enjoying themselves. He reflects on how he has never high-fived a girl before, wondering if this is what city life feels like. He thinks about how he might have gone along with Mona's high five if her shoelace hadn't snapped. Trying to clear his mind, he reminds himself of his purpose for transferring to the school, to train his mind and spirit. Yet, he admits, "Look at me lately." Meanwhile, Mona is also lost in thought, regretting that she didn't sit next to Kuroiwa earlier. Determined to change that, she gathers her courage and moves to sit beside him. Kuroiwa responds with his usual calm and composed demeanor, leaving her unsure of how to proceed. Elsewhere, Haruno is learning how to bowl and impresses everyone with her quick progress. Back with Mona and Kuroiwa, Mona notices the cola he's drinking and, without asking, takes it from him. Despite Kuroiwa warning her that he has already drunk from it, she brushes off his comment and reluctantly takes a sip, thinking it might somehow help her connect with him. Haruno bowls a perfect strike, earning cheers from the group. Meanwhile, Mona drinks from Kuroiwa's cola, questioning if this counts as an indirect kiss. She then hands it back to him, but Kuroiwa, visibly surprised, refuses to take it and tells her to finish it instead. He quickly stands up for his turn to bowl, leaving Mona annoyed at his reaction. Frustrated, she drinks the rest of the cola herself. Haruno, quietly observing the situation, takes note of the tension between Mona and Kuroiwa. The next day, Mona shows off her stylish winter sweater, catching the attention of her classmates. They compliment her, and Haruno snaps pictures. Mona asks Kuroiwa why he hasn't switched to the winter uniform yet, teasing that he could warm his fingers by tucking them into the sweater. Kuroiwa replies that he can handle the cold, leaving Mona disappointed. Later, Kuroiwa gets a message from his friends to meet behind the school. They confront him about being distant with Mona, pointing out how much effort she's put into looking out for him. They suggest he be friendlier without breaking his principles. Kuroiwa reflects on their words. On his way back to class, he runs into Haruno, who asks why he's rude to Mona and tells him even she's had enough of his cold attitude. Haruno adds that he's always the coldest toward Mona, leaving him conflicted. As he walks back, he overhears Mona helping the teacher and thinks to himself, she really is a nice girl. In class, Mona realizes she forgot her textbook and asks for help. Kuroiwa offers to share his, but when she moves her desk closer, he instinctively shifts his desk away. Haruno and his friends notice and silently remind him to be nicer. Kuroiwa moves his desk back and apologizes, explaining he was startled. Mona, surprised by his kindness, thanks him with a smile. Haruno captures the moment with her phone. Thanks for watching and stay tuned for the next episode to see how things unfold between Mona and Kuroiwa.